Hi, I'm Nolan, 37, and I used to believe that family meant doing whatever it takes, even if it meant slowly erasing myself. That belief died on my doorstep, Thanksgiving morning, when my sister tried to dump her 5 kids on me again, and I didn't open the door. She had no idea I'd already changed the locks. Kate had a talent for assuming I'd always say yes. It was practically a family tradition. Every Thanksgiving for the past 6 years, she'd call a few days before, toss some line about Dalton's big career opportunity, and drop off her kids at my apartment like they were Amazon packages. No warning. No apology. No pickup time. Just chaos and tiny sneakers. The first time, I said yes because I felt bad. Second time, I said yes because she cried. Third through 6 times, I said yes because I was spineless. This year? This year I wasn't just done, I was reborn. I live in a nice loft in Lincoln Park, Chicago. Marketing director. Long hours, decent paycheck, peace and quiet. No kids. No mess. I even light candles sometimes without worrying someone's going to set the place on fire. Kate lives 45 minutes away in Naperville with her traveling sales husband and the 5 loudest children on earth: Grayson, 12, Harper, 10, Knox, 8, Penelope, 6, and Beckett, 4. Their house is what happens when a daycare meets a blender. 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, Kate called. No greeting. No. How are you? Just, same deal as usual. We'll drop the kids off at noon, I said. Actually, Kate, I have plans this year. Silence. Then laughter. You say that every year. I mean it this time. Oh, come on, Cambria. Don't be dramatic. The kids love spending the holiday with you. That's when I said it. The sentence I'd been rehearsing in therapy, in the shower, and once to my toaster. I'm not available, Kate. You're always available. Not this time. And for once, I didn't flinch. I hung up before the guilt set in, and called my brother Griffin, who lives in Portland and wisely stays 2,000 miles away from family drama. He picked up on the second ring and said, "Let me guess, Kate's pissed you won't be the free daycare again? You heard? She called Mom. Mom called me. I told them both to leave you the hell alone." That's when I knew I wasn't crazy. Or selfish. Or dramatic. I was just done. Thanksgiving week rolled in like a freight train. Kate's text started Monday morning. Just making sure we're still good for Thursday. Kids are so excited. I didn't reply. She texted again Tuesday. Dalton's boss confirmed dinner is adults only. It's a huge deal. Don't screw us over. Still no reply. Wednesday morning, she called. I picked up out of pure curiosity. Cambria, enough already. What arrangements? It's the day before Thanksgiving. Every babysitter in Illinois is booked. You had 3 weeks. I said, calm as ice. That's not my problem. Her voice sharpened. After everything I've done for you, what have you ever done for me? I laughed. Name one thing you've done for me in the past 6 years. Just one. Silence. You can't, can you? Because you haven't? You treat me like a babysitter who doesn't charge. She hung up. An hour later, my phone buzzed. It was Penelope's voice on FaceTime. And Cambria, Mommy said you don't want to see us on Thanksgiving. She looked so small. Her bottom lip trembled. My heart broke, but my spine stayed straight. I love you, sweetie. But this year, Aunt Cambria has different plans. I promise we'll do something fun soon, just us. Kate's voice cut in from off camera. See, kids? Aunt Cambria cares more about herself than her family. Then the call ended. That night, I had all my locks changed. You see, Kate had a key. From 2 years ago. When I'd gone to Denver for a week and asked her to water my plants. She never returned it. And I never pressed it. But that version of me, the passive, always accommodating sister, was gone now. Thanksgiving morning arrived, clear and cold. I slept in. Took a long shower. Put on my favorite sweater dress. Made coffee with cinnamon and almond milk. No screaming children, no broken crayons, no spilled juice. Just me. At 11:32 a.m., the doorbell rang. Then the pounding began. I peeked through the peephole. Kate stood there with all 5 kids and her husband, Dalton, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else on Earth. The kids were dressed up, holding lunchboxes and tablets, clearly prepped for the day. I cracked the door open just enough to talk, chain lock still on. "What are you doing here?" I asked. She blinked at me like I was the crazy one. "Dropping off the kids. We're already late. I told you I'm not available." "You're clearly home. Being home doesn't mean I'm free." Kate's face turned scarlet. "This is unreal. What am I supposed to do with them now?" "That's your problem, not mine." Grayson, 12 and wise beyond his years, muttered. "Mom, she said she wasn't available." "You knew this." Kate snapped. "Be quiet, Grayson." Then to me, "If you don't take them right now, I will never forgive you. You're ruining everything." I looked her in the eye and said, "You're ruining your own plans by refusing to respect my boundaries." Dalton finally stepped forward. "Come on, Kate." She made it clear. "Let's go." "But the dinner, Dalton." "It's adults only." "Then we don't go." I didn't expect that. Dalton had always been passive, a prop next to Kate's dramatics. But now he was taking my side. Standing firm. Kate stared at him, at me, then at her kids, who were already beginning to shuffle back toward their car. "You're a bitter, selfish woman," she hissed. "I hope you enjoy your sad, lonely Thanksgiving." "I actually will," I said. "Happy holidays." I shut the door. Double-locked it. My heart was thumping, but it wasn't fear. It was freedom. Seconds later, my phone lit up with a new text. "You've destroyed Thanksgiving. The kids are crying because of you. Hope you're proud." I didn't respond. Instead, I grabbed my wine, my apple crisp, and headed to Natalie's townhouse in Wicker Park for Friendsgiving. 15 people, 0 drama. Real friends. Real joy. 7 kinds of pie. A round of Cards Against Humanity that made me cry laughing. Later that night, I got a group video from the kids. "We miss you, Aunt Cambria. Happy Thanksgiving." My heart melted. This was the kind of love I wanted. Voluntary. Real. Not guilt-wrapped obligation. By Black Friday, I'd become the villain of the family group chat. Kate was on a warpath. Long Facebook post about how some people choose selfishness over family, accompanied by a black and white photo of her kids looking solemn on a couch. A few vague comments from her friends. "You deserve better," and "Shame on her," made me laugh out loud over my leftovers. But the private messages were worse. My mom called. "Cambria, I heard what you did." I braced myself. "If you mean enforcing a boundary I warned about for weeks, then yes. Kate had to miss a very important dinner because of you. She had 3 weeks to make other plans." Mom sighed dramatically, like I just confessed to arson. "You used to be so sweet. So helpful." "No, Mom. I used to be terrified to say no. There's a difference. You sound bitter." "I'm tired of being used." There was a pause. The kind that stretches like a rubber band about to snap. "Family means making sacrifices," she said flatly. "I've made 6 years of sacrifices." Another sigh. This one quieter. "I don't know what's gotten into you." Click. I didn't cry. Not this time. I poured another glass of wine and watched a Christmas movie in fuzzy socks like a woman in a paper towel commercial. But the guilt campaign wasn't over. That Sunday, Harper, Kate's 10-year-old, called me from her own phone. "Aunt Cambria?" Her voice was soft. "Are you still mad at us?" My chest cracked open. "Oh honey, I was never mad at you. I love you so much." "Then why don't you come over anymore?" "Because you're Mom and I need some space right now." "But that doesn't mean I don't want to see you." "Can we see you without Mom there?" That caught me off guard. "What do you mean?" She lowered her voice. "Mom's been yelling a lot. She says it's your fault. But Grayson said, you helped too much. And she used you. I don't know who's right." I sat down. Hard. "I miss you," she whispered. "I miss you too, sweetheart. I'll talk to your dad, okay? Maybe we can plan something. Just us." The next day, I reached out to Dalton. He was apologetic. Embarrassed even. "She's not handling this well," he admitted. "She's used to relying on you." probably too much. If you're willing to see the kids, I'd be grateful. I'll make sure it's on your terms. So we planned it. One Saturday, just me and the kids. Navy Pier. Cotton candy. Arcade games. A world where no one called me selfish. The day was perfect. Grayson pulled me aside while Beckett played skee-ball. Mom says you abandoned us, he said carefully. But that's not really true, is it? No, it's not. I just needed to set some boundaries. Like how you're allowed to say you're too tired to go to a party. He nodded slowly. That seems fair. Mom has us all the time. That's her job. Not yours. That sentence stayed with me. The clarity of a 12-year-old, saying what no adult in my family had dared say out loud. I started seeing the kids regularly again, on my terms. No last-minute emergencies. No assumed obligations. If Kate wanted something, she had to ask. And accept that the answer might be no. At first, she didn't like the new rules. She sulked. Pouted. Sent long, manipulative emails about family ties being shattered. But then, silence. For months passed with no drama. Until our grandfather's funeral. In the church parking lot, she approached me. Stiff posture. Red eyes. We need to talk. Okay. Dalton's still in therapy, she said, eyes down. He says I should go too. That's great. My therapist says I treat people like resources. Not people. I waited. I'm not apologizing yet. I'm still mad. I nodded. Fair. But I'm working on it. I treated you like a free service. Like a convenience. That wasn't fair. I appreciate you saying that. I might apologize eventually. But not today. When you're ready, I said. I'll be here. It wasn't an ending. But it was something. That Thanksgiving? I volunteered at a food bank. Natalie came too. We served meals to 200 people. Laughed. Got pie on our aprons. The kids sent me a group video. We miss you, Aunt Cambria. Have fun helping people. I cried watching it. Not out of guilt. But gratitude. This was love. Real love. The kind that doesn't demand sacrifice. The kind that respects your time, your space, your... No. Winter came and went, and for the first time in years, my life didn't feel like a holding pen for someone else's chaos. I took a glass-blowing class. Bought a library card. Actually used my gym membership. Went on a few real dates. Dates I didn't have to cancel last minute because my sister has an emergency. It was like parts of myself I'd shelved to be the good aunt. Or waking up, yawning, stretching, and asking for coffee. At work, even Lauren noticed. You're glowing, she said one morning during a team sync. Did you get laid or finally stop babysitting 5 gremlins every holiday? I laughed. Both. Technically. But then, another surprise. A message popped up in my inbox, 3 weeks before Easter. It was from Dalton. I owe you an apology. We took advantage of your generosity for years. Never respected your time or boundaries. That wasn't right. I've started going to therapy for my conflict avoidance, and I've asked Kate to consider it too. I hope someday we can rebuild our relationship with you, on healthier terms. I sat staring at the screen. It wasn't grand. It wasn't groveling. But it was real. And it mattered more than he knew. Because if Dalton, the human beige wall, was going to therapy and owning his role in the mess, maybe things really could change. I didn't respond right away. I let it sit. Breathe. I wasn't ready to be anyone's savior or shortcut back to normal. But then another twist, because life's like that. One evening, I was scrolling through my email when I saw a FaceTime request. Harper. I answered. Her face appeared, framed by fairy lights and stuffed animals. Aunt Cambria? Hey, sweetie. Her eyes darted around. Mom's not home. I used my iPad. Everything okay? She hesitated, chewing on a fingernail. Mom's been different. Mean. Yells a lot. My stomach tightened. I'm so sorry, Harper. She says it's because you abandoned us. But Grayson says that's not true. He said you're teaching her how to treat you. That stopped me cold. Grayson was 12. And already, he got it better than most adults. I miss you, Harper added, voice small. I miss you too. She brightened. Could we see you again? Without Mom? Like Navy Pier? Of course. I'll talk to your dad. We made a plan. Dalton dropped them off at my place on a bright Saturday morning. We went to Shed Aquarium, shared deep dish pizza at Lou Malnati's, and ended the day lying on a blanket at Millennium Park, watching clouds and counting how many pigeons had 1 foot. Grayson, lying beside me, spoke up. Mom says you broke the family? But I don't think that's true. No? You just stop letting her use you. I stared up at the sky. That's a good way to put it. She's still mad. But Dad says he's trying. He doesn't yell as much now. Knox added from the side. Mom still yells. We all burst out laughing. That moment, right there, was the most peace I'd felt in years. After that, I saw the kids regularly. We had museum days, movie nights, and cupcake taste tests. But always on my terms. Pre-planned. No last-minute guilt bombs. Kate didn't like it. But she didn't stop it either. Griffin called me from Portland one evening. So, you're kind of the legend of the family group chat now. Oh? Mom switched from lectures to neutral updates. Kate's mostly silent. But Penelope's been drawing pictures of you as a superhero. I hope I get a cape. You do. It's pink. With snacks in the pockets. I smiled. Accurate. Then the inevitable. One rainy Tuesday in March, I got a text from Kate. Grandpa's funeral is Saturday. I know we haven't talked. But I assume you'll be there. I went. Of course I did. It was awkward, seeing Kate in the church vestibule, black dress, arms crossed like she was bracing for a fight. After the service, she cornered me in the parking lot. We need to talk. Okay. I've been going to therapy, she said, eyes not quite meeting mine. Dalton pushed. My therapist says I treat people like extensions of myself. Like tools. I nodded slowly. That sounds about right. I'm not apologizing yet. I raised an eyebrow. I'm still angry, she said. But I'm working on it. The therapist says I treat you like an employee, not a sister. That's accurate. I might be ready to apologize. But not today. That's fine, I said. When you're ready. And I meant it. Because I wasn't doing this for an apology anymore. I wasn't waiting for her approval. I'd already moved on. My life wasn't on pause. I'd pressed play. This past Thanksgiving, I didn't host any kids. I didn't hear screaming. Didn't scrape melted crayon off my hardwood floors. Instead, I woke up early and met Natalie and a few people from my glassblowing class. We volunteered at a food bank. Served 200 meals. Laughed. Cried. Sang along to a terribly off-key rendition of Lean on Me. Later that night, I got another group video from the kids. Grayson was holding the phone. We miss you, Aunt Cambria. Hope you're helping people and having a good time. I love you, Harper yelled in the background. And I realized I wasn't the villain. I was the adult who finally said enough. Who remembered she had value even if she wasn't holding someone else's mess. And that was the best holiday gift I've ever given myself. Spring bled into summer, and with it came a strange calm, like the emotional weather system in my life had finally stopped hurling hail at my face. For the first time in years, my calendar wasn't dictated by someone else's emergencies. I booked a weekend cabin trip with friends. Took a pottery class just to be bad at it. I even spent a full Sunday doing nothing but making soup, playing vinyl records, and watching old Audrey Hepburn movies. And here's the wildest part, no one interrupted. No last minute. Can you take the kids? Texts. No manipulative guilt calls. Just peace. The kids and I had settled into a rhythm. Every other Saturday, I'd pick them up for some kind of Chicago adventure, museum of science and industry, kayaking on the river, even a Build-A-Bear afternoon that ended in a glitter explosion I'm still finding in my rug. They called it Aunt Cambria Days. One afternoon in July, we were walking along Navy Pier eating soft pretzels when Penelope tugged my hand and said, You're our favorite grown-up. I blinked. Harper added, Because you always keep your promises. Grayson, too old to say something that sweet without getting roasted, nodded. And you talk to us like we're people, not problems. I felt the lump in my throat before I could swallow it. These kids didn't just love me, they saw me. Not as a backup mom, not as a free babysitter, but as a person. As Cambria. They were starting to understand that love didn't have to mean exhaustion. That family could mean consent, not just obligation. But back at home, not everything was as peaceful. Kate still hadn't formally apologized. Our communication remained minimal. She'd send texts like, "Dalton says the kids had a great time. Thanks." Or, "Harper said she wants to be a marketing director when she grows up. Thought you'd like that." Short. Tense. Polite. Never, "I'm sorry for using you." Never, "You were right to say no." And that was fine. I didn't need her to grovel. I just needed her to respect my space. But one Thursday night, that space was tested. There was a knock on my door around 9 p.m. I looked through the peephole. Kate. I froze. She stood there, not with kids, not with drama, but with a foil-covered Tupperware container and a stiff smile. I opened the door cautiously. "Hey," she said. "Hi. Made too much lasagna. Thought you might want some." I blinked. Didn't realize we were doing 1950s neighbor drop-bys now. Her smile twitched. "I'm trying." I stepped aside. She didn't come in, just held out the food. "I'm not here to argue," she said. "Or to guilt you. I just wanted to do something kind. No strings." I took the dish. "Thanks." She paused. "Therapy's been rough. I had to unpack a lot. About control. About the way I treat people." I nodded, not prompting her. "I'm not ready to say everything yet. But I know I was wrong. I didn't see you as a person with limits. I saw you as a solution." I swallowed. "I'll say it fully one day. But for now, I'm just trying to show it." "Okay," I said quietly. She nodded again, backed up, and walked down the hallway without waiting for a response. The lasagna was cold. But I ate it. Because it felt like the first real olive branch. And also, it had way too much ricotta, and I respect that. A week later, I ran into Dalton at a grocery store. He looked like a man who had survived a tornado. "Cambria," he said, balancing 3 boxes of popsicles and a carton of oat milk. "Hi." We chatted awkwardly for a minute. Then he said something that stuck. "She's trying. It's slow and clumsy. But she's not weaponizing the kids anymore. That's huge." I nodded. "I don't think we would have gotten here if you hadn't drawn the line. So, thank you." I didn't expect that. But it warmed something inside me. Change, I was realizing, is rarely clean. It's jagged. Uneven. Slow. But it was happening. And then, in August, I got an email from my mother. Not a phone call. Not a guilt-laced voicemail. A plain email. "Cambria, I wanted to let you know that I'm proud of you. I didn't understand at first. I thought you were being cruel. But Griffin talked to me. And I'd been thinking about the ways we expect women in this family to carry everything. You deserve better. You still do. Thank you for taking care of the kids all those years. And thank you for finally taking care of yourself. Love. Mom." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I cried. Not from sadness. Not from relief. But from recognition. For the first time, someone had finally seen the full picture. The years. The burnout. The invisible labor. The courage it took to say no. And they didn't argue. They thanked me. September brought cooler air, golden leaves across Lincoln Park, and a strange but welcome feeling. I no longer flinched when my phone buzzed. There were no emergencies waiting for me. No guilt bombs dressed as, "Can you just do me a quick favor?" I'd reclaimed my space, my peace, my weekends, and I was finally starting to trust that the boundary I built was going to hold. Kate didn't test it again. Not directly. But she did make adjustments. When I saw the kids, it was always through Dalton. Always prearranged. Always respectful. There were no more surprise drop-offs. Number 9 p.m. guilt calls. No emotional landmines. It was weird. But the good kind of weird. Like wearing jeans after a year of yoga pants, you forget it's supposed to feel this structured. And the kids? They were thriving. One Saturday, Grayson brought a school project to my apartment. It was a family tree, but with a twist. People who actually showed up for me. I nearly choked on my iced coffee when I saw where I landed, top tier, dead center labeled. Most reliable human. It hit me harder than I expected. I wasn't just a babysitter to them. I was safety. Consistency. Someone who'd earn their trust not by being available 24/7, but by setting honest limits and keeping my word. That's when I realized something. Boundaries don't push people away. They show people where the real love lives. Later that week, I ran into Harper's teacher at a farmer's market. She recognized me from the kids' pickup list. "She talks about you a lot," the teacher said. "She wrote an essay called My Favorite Adult Who Doesn't Yell." I laughed. "That's a pretty low bar." She meant it as a compliment. Said you listen when she talks and don't make her feel like a problem. That stayed with me. Because I used to think love meant saying yes until I had nothing left. Now I knew better. Real love meant showing up with your whole self, not the scraps left over after you've exhausted yourself for someone else. I kept volunteering with the food bank, even after Thanksgiving. Natalie and I became closer. She joked that we were now platonic soulmates with excellent side dishes. And then something I hadn't expected at all happened. I started dating someone. His name was Leo. Met him at a friend's birthday thing at a rooftop bar. He was quiet, a little nerdy, wore glasses he kept pushing up the bridge of his nose. We bonded over a shared hatred of small talk and a love for slow-cooked meals. On our third date, he said, "You seem really grounded." I snorted into my wine. "That's new." He tilted his head. "What changed?" And I told him. Not the whole saga, but the shape of it. The years of being expected to drop everything for someone else. The burnout. The rage. The turning point. He listened. Didn't interrupt. Just nodded and said, "Good for you." That's hard. Saying no. I smiled. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Worth it? Absolutely. We didn't rush. Just let things evolve. And it felt good to be with someone who didn't expect me to carry anything but my own feelings. By October, Leo had met the kids. We went to the pumpkin patch together. Harper declared him acceptable. Beckett tried to climb him like a tree. Knox asked if he liked Legos or was too grown up and boring. I watched Leo kneel in the dirt to help Beckett pick a pumpkin, and I thought, this is what it looks like when you build a life instead of getting steamrolled into one. Even Kate seemed to soften. She sent me a message, brief but honest. "Thanks for taking the kids last weekend. They came home so happy. I know we're not there yet, but I'm trying. Therapy is showing me a lot of things I didn't want to see. About control. About needing everything my way. I still get mad sometimes. But not at you. At myself. For not seeing how unfair I was being. Anyway, I hope you're well. It wasn't perfect. It didn't erase the past. But it mattered. Because I wasn't waiting for perfection anymore. I was just watching for patterns. And the pattern was changing. I saw it in how Dalton now texted days in advance. How Kate hadn't shown up unannounced since last November. How the kids no longer flinched when I told them I couldn't see them one weekend. They didn't guilt me. They didn't whine. They just said, "Okay, how about next time?" Next time. Not you owe us this time. That was growth. Mine. Theirs. Even Kate's. The family dynamic hadn't healed completely. But it had evolved. It wasn't about control anymore. It was about choice. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid to choose myself. Halloween came and went with the kind of ease I used to think was reserved for other people's families. The kind with porch pumpkins and too much candy, not shouting matches and guilt-stained silence. The kids trick-or-treated in my neighborhood this year. Dalton dropped them off at 4 p.m. sharp, texted me beforehand, showed up early, came with snacks and gloves and little flashlights. I almost cried from the sheer normalcy of it all. Kate didn't come. I wasn't sure if that was an act of respect or avoidance, but either way, I was grateful. The kids were giddy. Penelope was a sparkly bat. Beckett wore a dinosaur costume so large he couldn't sit down in it. Grayson and Knox were matching Mario and Luigi, and Harper had gone full glam vampire, glitter cape and all. They rang every bell on the block. We laughed at how Beckett kept roaring at the candy bowls. I handed out cider to parents and smiled so much my cheeks hurt. Later, we sat on the floor of my apartment sorting candy by keep trade and give to Dad because he eats the gross stuff. It was one of the best nights of my life. After they left, I curled up on the couch with Leo, who'd shown up with a bag of popcorn and zero expectations. "Do they know how lucky they are to have you?" he asked. "They just know I'm consistent," I said. "I show up when I say I will. I go home when I need to. I say no when I have to." He leaned in. "That's what lucky means." November brought the anniversary. 1 year since the doorbell rang on Thanksgiving morning and I stood behind a locked door while my sister fumed outside with 5 kids and 0 options. 1 year since I chose my peace over her pressure. I didn't mark the date with confetti or cupcakes, but I did something I hadn't done in over a decade. I booked a solo weekend trip. Just me. A cabin in northern Wisconsin. No Wi-Fi. No calls. No niece with a fever or nephew melting down over juice brands. No emergencies disguised as quick favors. I packed a stack of books. Made playlists. Wrote letters I never sent. Sat by the fireplace and remembered what it felt like to just exist. On the second night, I got a voicemail from Kate. I didn't listen to it until I got home. "Hey. I know it's been almost a year. I know Thanksgiving probably brings up a lot now. I'm trying not to repeat the pattern this time. I made arrangements weeks ago. Babysitter. Paid. No pressure on you. But the kids asked if they could see you after. Just to hang out. They said they miss your mashed potatoes. Anyway. I wanted to say, thank you. For last year. At the time, I was furious. But I see it now. You were the only one brave enough to stop the cycle. I should have done it myself. I hope someday you'll let me make it up to you. Not today. Not with some dramatic gesture. Just, over time. If you'll let me." I sat there for a long time. Just holding the phone. Not crying. Not clenching. Just breathing. Because that was the closest thing to an apology Kate Sullivan had ever given anyone. And for once, I believed she meant it. Thanksgiving came quietly. I went to Natalie's again, our 3rd annual Friendsgiving. Leo came this time. Brought his weird mushroom gravy and charmed Natalie's cousin, who usually hated everyone. Midway through dinner, my phone buzzed with a photo. The kids, all 5 of them, holding a sign that said, "We still love your mashed potatoes." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my wine. Later that night, I FaceTimed them. We talked for 20 minutes about nothing. Candy, school, who got grounded recently. It felt easy. Unweighted. Like love unshackled from obligation. Grayson asked, "Will you still take us to the Field Museum next weekend?" "I'd love to," I said. "Just not the gift shop this time, okay?" "Deal." He grinned. "Maybe." When the call ended, Leo looked over and said, "You've built something beautiful with them." "I almost lost it," I said. I thought saying no meant I'd lose them forever. He shook his head. "You didn't lose them. You gave them something better, an adult who means what she says." And that was the truth. Because this time last year, I was scared stiff behind a locked door. Now I was standing tall, unlocked. Available when I chose to be. Unapologetic when I wasn't. And somehow, miraculously, the people who mattered most were still with me. A week after Thanksgiving, I got a card in the mail. Actual card. Not a text. Not a passive-aggressive Facebook post. A card. Inside, Kate had written, in her own handwriting, "Cambria, thank you for showing me how to stop taking people for granted. Thank you for giving my kids a better example than I did. I'm still learning. I hope I get it right someday. Love, Kate." No promises. No excuses. Just acknowledgement. And that was enough. Later that weekend, I stood with the kids outside the Chicago History Museum, all of them bundled in coats, holding hot chocolate, telling me about a boy at school who tried to eat glue. Beckett tripped and spilled his drink. No one yelled. Grayson helped him up. Harper dabbed his coat with napkins. Knox made a joke about hot glue lattes. And I thought, this is what it looks like when you teach a new way. Not through lectures, but through action. I didn't save my family by setting myself on fire to keep them warm. I saved myself. And the kids came with me. My name's Cambria. I'm 37. Still single. Still living in my Lincoln Park loft. Still making killer mashed potatoes. Still fiercely protective of my peace. This Thanksgiving, I didn't need to unlock the door for chaos. Because I finally unlocked it for myself. Thanks for listening. And now let me ask you. If a family member expected free childcare every holiday, would you set a boundary, or keep the peace?